What's up everybody, this is Zoya, the Russian Korean. And today we are continuing with our exploration of the League of Legends lore. I've been talking about this for some time, but I have been meaning to make an explore the lore video for Freljord, because it is such an important region in the, every region is important in League of Legends lore, but I think Freljord is one of the essential ones, you know what I mean? And today is finally the day when I'm finally going to go onto the Freljord universe page and check out the artwork, the description, and all the other stuff that's on there to see. Now, for those of you who have not seen any of my previous Explore the Lore videos, please check out the playlist. I've done different things so far. I've explored a few regions, and I also looked at a few of the particular champions. So if you haven't seen those videos, please check out the playlist. I'm sure you're gonna find something that you like. Also, I apologize for the multiple blemishes on my face that for some reason to pop up when I'm filming. Like when I'm not filming, my skin is just perfect. And when okay, I'm filming today, bam. Okay, so here we are on the universe page and we are gonna go into the regions and let's get into the Freljord. Da da da. Ooh hoo hoo. I'm excited, guys, because I like snow. I was born in the winter, so I do like winter. And I also, one of my favorite weathers actually is a very clear sunny day in the winter when there's snow everywhere and everything is just glowing. Needless to say, those days actually tend to be really, really cold. And here we are looking at some sort of site in Freljord. This looks like ash in the foreground, so I'm interested to see if we're gonna get a description of what this is. Okay, so let's read the brief description here first to have an idea of what this region's about. The Freljord is a harsh and unforgiving place where the people are born warriors who must persevere against all odds. Proud and fiercely independent, the tribes of the Freljord are often considered wild, rugged, and uncivilized by their neighbors across Valorant, who do not know the ancient traditions that shaped them. Many thousands of years ago, the alliance between the sisters of Avarosa, Cyrilda, and Lysandra was shattered in a war that unknowingly threatened all of Runeterra, plunging the northern lands into chaos and near constant winter. Now, only those truly exceptional mortals who seem immune to the ravages of fire or ice seem destined or able to lead. Okay, so the Freljord wasn't always a wintry place before, but now it is. Despite the best efforts of the Frostguard, myths and legends still endure of the old gods, the enigmatic yetis, and restless spirit walker shamans. I'm always confused on how to read shaman or shaman or shaman. Everyone reads it differently. The raiders of the Winter's Claw range further with each passing year, harrying the borders of Demacia to the south and the frontiers of Noxus to the east. Finally, seeking a more peaceful future, the fractious independent tribes and clans have begun to offer their allegiance to Ashe, young queen of the Avarosans. Even so, the portents are grim. War is surely returning to the Freljord, and none can hope to escape it. I feel like every region's biography can end with this. War is surely returning to insert the name of the region, and none can hope to escape it. Okay, so this is a warlike, very rugged, tough people living in the Freljord, because Freljord is not for the frail of heart. So let's take a look at the champions who actually do come from the Freljord. So we got Ashe, Lysandra, or Lysandra, Sejuani, Gnar, or Gnar, Gragas, Tryndamere, Braum, Nunu Willump, Olaf, Anivia, Trundle, Udyr, Volibear, and Ornn. Interestingly, I thought there would be a little more than this, but I guess Riot's attention is all on Ionia right now, which is like twice as many as this, I think. It's funny how all the males in this pool of champions from the Freljord, they're all like these chunky guys, except for the kid right here, of course, Nunu and Willump. Who is Nunu? Who is Willump, by the way? I've played the champ a few times and I don't even know who's who. I'm pretty sure Nunu is the kid and Willump is the Yeti, but correct me if I'm wrong. So in this exploration of the region, I don't dive into each champion's lore because we would be here for hours and hours if I did that. So we're just gonna keep on going. I know that there are related stories which are also related to certain champs, but we're again not gonna read those because that's for another time when we explore the champions specifically. So we're gonna move on. And what is this? Tales of Runeterra, the Freljord. Ah, I believe I've seen this video. This is the video where Braum, I think, saves a baby. Yep. We've seen this before, so we're not gonna watch it here. If you want to watch my reaction, by the way, when this video was released, you can click on the card. Moving on. Art gallery. Ooh, just by looking at this, I'm already interested. Let's take a look. I think a lot of it has to do with Lysandra, which is one of the champs that I like to play. Domain of the Ice Witch. In the deepest halls of the Frostguard Citadel, Lysandra spends most of her waking hours in this grand vaulted audience chamber. It is from here that she delivers her chilling sermons, hears the reports of her priests, and passes judgment on the fate of heretics among the tribes they serve. Okay, so she's... I mean, no offense, but she's kind of like the Pope. The atmosphere overall reminds me, of course, I'm sure it was inspired in many ways by Hans Christian Andersen's story. I believe it's called The Ice Queen. That, of course, also inspired the Ice Witch in the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. So I can definitely see some inspiration here. And the black ice, kind of a very solemn, eerie atmosphere. That looks like Lysandra. The Draklorn, as the highest tier of the priesthood, answering only to the Ice Witch herself. Draklorn are among the most zealous and learned of all Frostguard. Some of them rarely set foot outside the Citadel's walls, and they are no doubt privy to secrets that would never be entrusted to the lower ranks. I wonder what's with the 2 points that always have to be there, you know? Like this or like this. The shoulder pads too, like, look at that. Also, where do their legs end? They themselves look like blocks of ice, holding back the darkness. At key points throughout the Howling Abyss, gigantic spiked barricades of stone and iron were set into the walls by the Frostguard many thousands of years ago. One day, when the Watchers reawaken, these meager defenses may buy some precious time for those above to prepare for the final battle. So this is the Howling Abyss. Again, very dark, somber. And the size, I guess, the reference here of the people against the actual structure just shows how massive it is. Okay, I feel like everything here has to do with Lysandra's domain because everything looks very dark and very creepy. Eyes in the Abyss. Warriors of the Keeper's Lodge diligently patrol the locations of some of the largest known Watchers, or at least those closest to the icy surface. This particular beast is known as the Pierced Eye, ever since it was skewered with titanic mortise stones dropped from the fortress high above. I wonder if it has anything to do with one of Volibear's skins. 1,000 pierced something. Mortise stones. Ah, so this is kind of like an iceberg, right? You see like the part of it, but then most of it is actually underneath, under the surface. These sleek daggers of frozen granite, over 100 feet in length, are weapons of last resort when a Watcher stirs from its slumber. The Frostguard have not needed to drop even a single stone in many centuries, but they stand ready to do so whenever the alarm is raised. So it's kind of like there's this waiting and unsettling kind of peace that is just ready to, you know, burst out or to get into action as soon as some sort of war breaks out or some sort of conflict. Okay, so we went over this first part of the art gallery. And let's move on to the second. Okay, so I think this first one had to do with Lysandra and, you know, her domain. And now we're moving on to something else. Oh, what is this? Is this actual footage of the north of Russia? Raiders and Reavers. Death stalks the Freljord in 1,000 guises, with fangs, blades, numbing frostbite, and bitter starvation. To survive is to fight every death, crush every threat, steal every advantage, and each new dawn brings a choice to the Winter's Claw. Do whatever it takes to survive or die. Wow, this guy's mask or helmet is kind of like the same as this creature's front. I'm not sure. It's like horns, but kind of icy horns, maybe? You don't come for vacation to Freljord. During the months of summer raiding, warriors of the Winter's Claw range far across the northern lands, taking and repurposing whatever they need. As winter approaches, they will ground their ships, establish temporary homesteads, and prepare to wait out the longer, colder nights until the thaw comes around again. So is this the footage of summer? I guess these tribes are heavily modeled after a lot of the nomadic tribes in, you know, the northern part of our world. especially actually in the northern part of Russia or like above Russia. Yeah, even their clothes and styles pretty similar. I like how they are wearing so much that you can't even really see them. You can't see any skin, which I mean makes sense. It's really cold there. Take whatever you need. The Winter's Claw rarely let anything go to waste. Okay, so we are looking at the tribe called the Winter's Claw. Their weapons might be steel, looted from fallen enemies, or nothing more than sharpened wood and napped flint. Thick fabrics and animal pelts give protection against the cold, adorned with the bones, tusks, and horns of their most prized kills. So it's kind of like wherever they've been, whatever they've done, whomever they fought, you can see it all right there on the surface in their getup. Ooh, what the heck is this? Looks like a gigantic mosquito. Mosquito mixed with a ostrich? Beast riders. In spite of its harsh and unforgiving climate, the Freljord is home to a wide variety of fantastical fauna, particularly suited to life there. The Winter's Claw do not tame or coddle their mounts, but encourage the creature's wild and aggressive survival instincts even as they take the reins. It would be pretty cool to ride one, except this one just looks too much like a mosquito. Hunting in the depths. Whenever conditions in and around the frozen seas permit it, the most skilled divers are sent beneath the waves in search of prey. They rub seal fat over their skin and clothing for extra warmth, and may take an extra lungful of air down with them in reclaimed swim bladders. Looks like they're hunting either with this whale-looking creature or they're hunting for him. Not sure. Looks like a really dangerous job, especially in this water that probably never really gets warm enough for you to swim comfortably, you know what I mean? But they got the technology to do so, which is pretty cool. Fish also must probably be really fresh. Any kind of seafood must be really fresh in places where the water is really cold. A tribe on the move. Sometimes the frozen sea routes take longer than usual to open up again. Impatient raiders may sacrifice a ship or two to build harnesses for their beasts of burden, dragging the rest to open water in an attempt to outpace their less enterprising rivals. Their helmets or whatever also look like they are from Lysandra's crew, and the people here who are, I guess, in the front, they're either chained or they're just dragging something after them. Looks like they're dragging something. They remind me of one of the paintings by Ilya Repin. Okay, so this was the Winter's Claw, and now we are coming over to the next section. Looks a little more fantastical because it's got these neon colors and stuff. Let's look. This is the Frostguard Citadel. Okay, so this is basically where Lysandra hangs out. Wow, I've always wanted to see the Milky Way and the stars. So whenever I see pictures that have that in them, I'm always like, ooh. One time, my husband and I, we were traveling in upstate New York, and we were going at night, and it's really hilly there. So we were going through the hills, and the sky was super clear. And when you look out the window, it's like pitch dark. There are no lights there. And like if you stop the car and you turn off the lights, you can see the stars, and they're so clear, and there's just so many of them that you get this 3D effect. Like some stars are closer, others are further out, and it almost looks like they're like falling down on you. It's kind of an amazing, awesome, and also scary sight to behold. The ruined fortress of the Iceborn. I just noticed there's some people here too. I like the detail of the sunrise. Looks like this used to be a really grand structure, which unfortunately I guess is just in ruins now. Just kind of gives you a glimpse of what Freljord used to be. The pilgrim site of Racklestake. Okay, so this is, I guess, a Racklestake, whatever that is, no description, but okay. That looks like a pretty important place, I would say. Also, that lady is holding a bow, and there's Ash right here holding a bow, which is very similar to the bow that the statue is holding. And Ash is an Avarosan, correct? So maybe this has to do with some sacred site for the Avarosans? I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I like the fact that there is some greenery. You can actually see some grass. It adds some warmth. Also, I think in terms of skin, Ash is showing way too much for a cold environment like that, where everyone is just like putting on whatever they can to stay warm. she's just like, ah, whatever. Ice-locked harbor of Glasserport with its chained wolf ships. This is like inspired by the Vikings for sure. Like look at these ornaments here, these details. I also like the fire. Also, I just noticed right here, there is something over this. I thought it was just like an open sky, but I think this is almost like a cave. See, there's like an opening in the back, and then over it, we see some sort of ice or stone. This looks like the Howling Abyss. The frozen caverns of the Howling Abyss. Yes, it is. I just looked at the bridge. So do people live here? I guess they do, because I see some people. Like I see there's probably like a person right here. And then there's, you know, lights. So I'm assuming people live here. I don't know if I would want to live there though. Warded gateway to the Howling Abyss. Okay, so this is just from a different angle. Is this reflection? It's hanging upside down, or what is this? I don't think it's a reflection. I think it's actually somehow suspended like that. Yeah, because all these other structures are the same. And then, like, if this were a reflection, then we should be seeing the same kind of structure going up, but I'm not seeing it. So, Vaults of the Iceborn beneath Frosthorn Peak. So I'm guessing there's a special clan or special type of people in the Freljord called the Iceborn, which are these special people, kind of like Ash. I think not kind of like, but like Ash, because she's one of the Iceborn. And the way I know this is through the game interactions, because I've heard them. But yeah, she's an Iceborn, which I think is like a kind of people that can use special like ice weapons and stuff, or have like special abilities. And let's move down to concept art. People of the tribes. This guy, this guy. I think this is Ash. I hope that's her pants. And I hope she's not just flashing her panties here. Like I said before, the men all look very rugged and muscular and chunky and bearded. Yeah, very hairy. Freljordian home. Has some Nordic details. Ooh, and this is like last century, okay? This is like medieval times. And this is today, okay? The modern times. Freljordian home. It's got some nice design. Very chic. Tribal weaponry. The blades and bows used by the tribes are fashioned from wood, steel, and bone, and in the rarest cases may also incorporate true ice. So like in Ash's case, right? Because her bow is made of true ice. And let's see what true ice is. True ice occurs naturally and never melts, although it is extremely rare. Only Iceborn warriors can stand its freezing touch and may wield it in battle. Ooh. So like if you can touch it, you're like, ah, you're so special. And those were the pictures in the concept art. Now, this is a comic. It's an Ash comic, and I want to read it separately. So I will do that in a separate Explore the Lore video, which will have to do with the comic, just like I did with Zed. But let's move on. And here we have the music of League of Legends Freljord. Yay! Let's watch this. Or let's listen to this. Oh, you hear this song in the Howling Abyss. Or in Champ Select for ARAM. I actually really like this song. I think it suits the feel of Freljord really well. Never heard this part. It's giving me goosebumps. Yeah. When you hear that, that means you need to finish up your runes, okay? Because time is running out. I like how at the end they're finishing just with the strings, and they are playing at like octaves, which really gives it this Nordic kind of feel. The making of Freljord music! Well, why don't we watch that as well? I love watching stuff like behind the scenes, how it was made. Oh, look at these instruments.
Music is a really powerful tool. We use this for Freljord to capture the identity, the compelling history, and some kind of the feel of the whole territory, this icy tundra and this icy place where growing up and living is a really, really difficult thing. The coolest part about being a composer at Riot Games is that every single day I can just walk through the rows of the art department. There's so much inspiration for everything. It instantly gives you this desire to create something that picks this up and is as unique and as compelling as these visuals. So I called up Alex Temple and Sebastian Ajan from Hollywood Scoring, and we sat down and started to develop this idea of Freljord's music.
The music of the Freljord map is built on this steady march rhythm that we feel has a weight that really helps you feel like you're in the middle of a battle.
We felt like the very typical orchestral elements and instruments don't fully give us the best idea of what Freljord can be like.
Imagine that you have axes and swords and shields in your hands, and in your free time between slaughtering everyone, you found this tree and you play on it.
We tried to think a little more outside the box and come up with our own ideas for what the instruments from that place should sound like.
Wow. What is this?
For example, a nickel harpa, which is a really old traditional instrument from Sweden. It's a bowed string instrument, but it's keyed, so it has this very, very unique tone to itself that actually sounds a little icy when you listen to it on its own.
I think this instrument talks to your soul, and when it hits certain notes, you actually feel it inside.
I did not know about this instrument
The
before.
viola da gamba is some kind of a medieval version of the cello, and it also has a rougher tone. It doesn't sound as developed. The Freljord tribes are led by the three sisters, Ash, Sejuani, and Lysandra, and having female vocals made a lot of sense to us. So we had an Irish singer here.
We went for a non-classical type.
Wait, they're sisters?
The type of voice that is better suited to convey the rugged and raw characteristics of Freljord.
We also brought on Lisa Thorne, who was a graphic designer at Riot Games and who sang the Diana piece. And she was kind enough to lend us her voice here again. The moment when we were done and we threw all these different instruments and sounds together, it just clicks. You're just standing there and you're just like, oh my god.
Is that over the next few months and years that we can start to unveil more and more of our world and give you guys a taste of the depth in the stories and the visual exploration that we've been doing in the last few years in a way that will expose more of the League of Legends universe.
Seriously, this is really the reason why I explore the lore in the first place. Because here's my worldview behind this, or here's my, I guess, stance behind this. I look at people's creative capacity as this innate gift from God that we have. Because, you know, as most of you know, probably by now, is that I'm a Christian and I kind of look at things through that lens. And because I believe that God created people in his own image, he also created them with the capacity to create. So he's the creator God, which means we as people also have that unique capacity to be imaginative and creative and create our own worlds and our own music, our own everything. And I think stuff like this, you know, the League of Legends lore in general, right, is a piece of imagination. It's not real, right? But people have created it and multiple people have worked on it. and they're still polishing it, right? Because that creation is not quite perfect, because we can't really make anything perfect. But at the same time, like music like this, you know, just the process, watching it is really satisfying and also captivating, because it just gives you a window into this creative world that I believe is really only available to humanity. So yeah, that was really, really fun to watch. Okay, so this is actually the end of the Freljord region page, but I was tipped off by one of you guys that there is a video that's not on the actual page. It's in the in some of the champs pages. I believe you said that I can find it in Ash's page, so I'm just gonna go on her page. And yeah, this one, Enter the Freljord. This is a video that apparently I must see in order to get a better idea of what the Freljord factions are about. Yeah, learn more about the 3 tribes that vie for control of the treacherous realm. I really don't know why this video is not on the main Freljord region page. But okay, let's watch it. And this will be the conclusion to our exploration of the Freljord's lore.
The Freljord. A frozen, desolate place. War is coming to the Freljord. The Avarosan, the largest and strongest of the tribes.
That's Ash's tribe.
Led by Ash, they seek peaceful unification. The Winter's Claw, the most warlike and brutal of the tribes. Led by Sejuani, they think peace is another word for weakness. Sejuani has sworn to purge this weakness. Through war, the Freljord will be purified. Far in the north, the peaceful Frostguard protect Freljord's ancient secrets. Or so the world believes. In truth, the Frostguard protect me, Lysandra. While others bicker, we prepare. When the time is right, we will strike. They cannot withstand us. They are only human. And when the war is over, the world, our world, will be reborn in ice.
Yeah. So I didn't even recognize that this was Lysandra speaking. Part of it is because I play Lysandra on the Korean server and her voice sounds completely different there. Actually, it sounds really obnoxious. But I'm glad I watched this because now it makes sense. So the artwork that I explored on the actual universe page, like this is, you know, Lysandra's domain, this is Sejuani's domain, and this is the Avarosans. So it makes sense now. Also explains some of the division that exists in Freljord. Well, what can I say in conclusion? I feel like in terms of music, this was probably my favorite, just because of all the like really fun instruments, traditional instruments that they're using. I think that's a brilliant idea. Gives you chills. Pun intended. Also, maybe I'm biased because of Lysandra, but I really am interested in finding out about the different champions from this region because I feel like there's a lot going on. You know, whenever you create a story with factions and some sort of tension between them and then, you know, power struggle, it's always an interesting thing to look at. And of course, the Ash comic. In the future, hopefully soon enough, I'm going to be able to look at this. Well, how about you guys? What did you think of Freljord's lore? How do you like the general atmosphere of this region? Who is your favorite champion? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. This was Zoya, the Russian Korean. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.